I love lasagna. I think it's one of Italy's greatest culinary traditions. I also love mushrooms. So today, I'm going to take the lasagna, I'm going to take the mushroom, and I'm going to put them together. Let's get cooking. So now I'm starting with the ricotta cheese. This lasagna is only going to have basically mushrooms, tomato sauce, and ricotta cheese. So for the ricotta cheese, we're starting with tofu. This is a firm tofu. It's not extra firm, it's just firm. And don't squeeze all the juice out. Just put it on a plate with a paper towel, like I did there. Okay? Put it on a plate with paper towel and just let the juices run off, the water run off it naturally for about 10 minutes, and that's it. It's got to be wet, otherwise it's going to be pebbly. I want it to be smooth and creamy like ricotta cheese. In the food processor with a teaspoon of salt and a half teaspoon of pepper. And I'm also going to add a quarter of a cup of nutritional yeast. Nutritional yeast is like a vegan Parmesan cheese. Wonderful. Good flavor. And it's vegan. Going to process this until it's pretty smooth. Okay, there is your ricotta cheese. Look at that. Looks smooth, rich, creamy, okay? That's what you want. Okay, so to make the sauce for this lasagna, first we gotta slice the mushroom. I'm not gonna dice it small, I'm just gonna slice it like that. You see that? As small as you can slice it, that's what you gotta do. So this is about 5 cloves of garlic. It's a lot of garlic, but I sliced it, so it's got a big surface area. So it's going to be more sweet than it is going to be pungent. Okay. The other important ingredient here is mushrooms. We're going to use about 2 pounds of mushrooms because I like the mushroom flavor, and that's what I want to do. Cut them in half. Slice them thin. If you buy them sliced already, they might be a little too thick. So, look, cut them in half. Get the large mushroom so it's easy to work with. Cut them in half and then, just take your time and slice it. Nice and thin. Now, we're going to wash it. If you wash it before you slice it, they're going to turn brown. Now we wash it so it turns less brown because you're going to wash it and then cook it right away. And what I'm going to do first is throw in my olive oil, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then heat that up a little bit on medium heat. Throw in some garlic. All right, my 5 cloves of garlic. You see how that's frying away over there? Very nice. I don't want the garlic to get brown, so right away I'm throwing in my mushroom. May seem like a lot of mushroom in there, but don't worry because it's going to cook down. Okay, now I'm going to cover this up and let the mushroom kind of braise. I want to braise it a little bit. So I cook it with the garlic. It does taste really good, smell really good. The next ingredient we got to think about is the tomato. Okay, this is what I'm using. It is San Marzano tomato. These run about $5 a can. You can get lesser tomatoes for about $1.50 to $2 a can, but these tomatoes are going to give you a real good tomato flavor. San Marzano. If you want the best, this is the best. San Marzano tomatoes. And here we go. Beautiful, beautiful color. I can smell that fresh tomato flavor. Okay, now what I do with this is I just take a knife and just kind of puncture them. This is why I do it. I have to put my hands in here and squeeze these a little bit, just to kind of break them up a little bit. So when I make the sauce, I don't get like a whole tomato. They'll be broken up. If you put your hands in there and you squeeze it, right, what's going to happen is that they're going to burst and you get tomato all over yourself. So I don't want to do that, so I put the knife in and I give it a little puncture. Now what I want to do is get my hand in there and give it a squeeze. Hey, wash your hands first, all right? And that's it. Give it a little squeeze, let it run through your fingers. You just want to break them up a little bit. You can smell the fresh tomato. Really nice. So you see it's not all the way dry, but a lot of the moisture has evaporated, intensifying the flavor of the mushroom. That's what's important. Mushroom lasagna. Okay, so I got the tomato right in there. Beautiful. Hey, tomato's expensive, so get every last drop in there, right? There you go. And then, lower that fire. We're not reducing this now. And this is kind of, it's not like a tomato sauce, it's like a ragu. Ragu is a vegetable stew. It's like a ragu of mushroom. Woo, this smells good. Wow. Okay, so, look at that. You want to season up with a little bit of salt, about a teaspoon of salt. Don't get crazy. Okay, teaspoon of salt. Nice. How about a little bit of fresh cracked pepper? Oh, maybe a half a teaspoon. That's it. Today I'm using something a little bit special. Normally I use crushed red pepper in my tomato sauce or in my ragu, but today I'm using some Aleppo pepper. It's similar to crushed red pepper in that it's spicy. It's a pepper, but it's also a little bit sweet. And it gives a nice flavor. I'm going to put about just like a quarter of a teaspoon. A little bit. I don't want to make it spicy. I don't want the sauce to taste like pepper, but it gives a nice little flavor. Okay, now we're going to cook this. We're going to cook this for about 15 minutes, that's all. I'm going to put the cover on. I'm going to cook for about 15 minutes. So I told you I was going to finish this off something special, and there it is. Okay, I'm going to put some nice fresh basil in the sauce. But the basil goes in at the end. The sauce is done. Turn the fire off and put the basil inside. Because it's fresh. If you put it in earlier, the flavor gets washed out. And this is how you cut the basil. All right, this is how I do it. The small leaves I put all on top. I got this big leaf on the bottom. I put the big leaf down. I put all the smaller leaves on top. All right, then I roll like a cigar. Ooh, look at that cigar. Okay, and then I slice it. I try not to push on it. I just try to slice it with the blade of the knife. Nice. And this in French is called chefdanavn. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. I take my chefdanavn of basil. I put it right inside. Shut the fire off. Mix it up. Hey, this sauce is done. That's it. And that basil you're going to smell. Oh boy, that's like terrific. Look at me here. Look at me. You see me here? Hey, here I am. Watch this. Wow, that smells really good. That's a really good sauce. Mushroom and fresh basil. Absolutely fantastic. Ronzoni. Ronzoni, 100% whole wheat. Okay, so the reason why I use this lasagna noodle is because if you look at the ingredients, okay, if you can see that. Okay, so ingredients: durum whole wheat flour. That's it. Nothing else. So if you get a cheaper pasta, you look at the ingredients, you might find that it's got other things, anti-caking agents and stuff like that. This is good. This has only got the Durham whole wheat flour. That's why I like to use it. The water is boiling. Not simmering, it's boiling. And notice I use a oblong pot. Okay, if you have an oblong pot, it's great for cooking lasagna. If not, use the biggest pot you have. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of salt in there. And then I'm going to add my pasta. For what I'm doing here, 1 box is fine. I'm not making a lot of lasagna. I just make enough, you know, I make enough for like 4 or 5 people. I just separate them. Look how I do this, see? I separate a little bit so they don't stick together. It's good. Once it's cooked, I'm going to drain it and rinse it. Okay, so everything's ready. Let's put it together. First, I'm going to spray it with a little bit of spray oil just to make sure it doesn't stick, it doesn't burn, it doesn't do a lot of things. I give it a little spray. Okay. Then we get a little bit of sauce. It's not really a sauce. Like I said, it's more like a stew, but there we go. Cover the bottom. Ooh, it smells good. And then we get the lasagna. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make it very classic here. Alright? So, we put 4 strips. Listen, if you have a bigger pan, you're going to use more strips of pasta, right? More lasagna noodles. Okay? I put 4 on one side, like that. And then I put 4 on this side, like that. And it got to hang over a little bit. This is a very classical way to assemble a lasagna. Now, I put some sauce on there. And I want to put about 1/3 of the sauce. And then I want to put about, remember the tofu I made into ricotta cheese, right? I want to put about half of that. All right. Very good. A little more here. There you go. And then, remember I told you about the nutritional yeast. I take my nutritional yeast, I put it into a shaker like this, because sometimes I want to go like this. And put a little bit of that, like Parmesan cheese flavor in there. So you give a nice sprinkle of the nutritional yeast. It's going to give you a nice flavor. Now you see how those lasagna noodles go this way? So I got to put more lasagna noodles in there to make layers, but this time they're going to go this way. And it should fit right into the pan. If it doesn't, just take a knife and cut a little bit off the end. Now I'm going to fit right in there. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, now. Yeah, so what are we going to do now? More sauce. Ooh, that smells delicious. Okay. And then use the rest of the tofu made into ricotta cheese. Then what? Some more nutritional yeast. Just make sure there's a nice covering on it. Okay? Beautiful. Now what do you do? Well, you have these hanging over the side. These, remember these noodles? You made 2 sections there. Hang them over the side. Well, flap them, put them back, flatten back over like that. Look at that. Like that. Like that. Remember, you got your last third of the tomato sauce? Yeah, well, put that all on top like that. I'm going to take the lid like that and put it on top like that. I'm going to put this in the oven, 325 degrees, 1 hour. I want to cook it slow. I want the flavors to all come together like that. I want the pasta to absorb some of that beautiful mushroom ragu. Let's put it in the oven. In the oven it goes. Hey, that's me. How you doing? I'm putting it in the oven, 325 degrees, 1 hour. Beautiful. The lasagna comes out of the oven, and then you have to let it sit for about an hour. Okay? Or you can serve it the next day and let it sit in the refrigerator overnight. That's fine too. But it has to sit. It has to kind of set. And then, beautiful. You know what happens then? Hey, look at that. You know what happened? I cut a piece out. You know why? I ate some already. Absolutely delicious. Anyway, the problem is that I have these leftover noodles now. Look at this. Okay? What am I going to do with these? Can't throw them away. It's a sin, right? I got to cook them up. I'm going to make a lo mein with it. And I'm going to put some kimchi inside. Stir-fried kimchi lo mein. Fantastic. That's my next video. Make sure you check it out. Okay? And I'll see you there.